Hello and welcome back to the technical charts analysis section. So we're going to start off with the US dollar index. Again, the US dollar index will show us whether the US dollar was weakening or strengthening over a certain period of time. So again, this is the US dollar index, and as we can see, the US dollar again was mostly bearish for quite some time. Okay, and most recently it was consolidating for a few phases, but after every consolidation it continues to weaken, and it touched a low of at this point on last Thursday early morning, local Singapore time at about 2 a.m. when the FOMC statement was released. The US dollar touched a low of 95.68 and then went into consolidation on Thursday. Okay, so as we can see, on Thursday it was consolidating, and more importantly, after consolidating for a while, it managed to stage a mild recovery, moving up to this point, the previous range over here, okay, which was drawn last week on the 5th of June. Okay, so we can see that number one, the sentiment has obviously changed from being bearish for a number of weeks to consolidating. And for the last two market days, on last Friday and also last Thursday, Thursday was the first turnaround, the first day that it actually staged a very good recovery. And on Friday, it consolidated, retraced a little bit. However, during the UK and US trading sessions, it continues to recover further. Okay, so currently the US dollar is pretty quiet. As you can see, the price action and the US dollar index is resting at the 97.045 levels. Okay, so the main point to note is that US dollars, the sentiment for the US dollar is currently on a slightly bullish sentiment. Okay, so it means that possibly, depending on where the price action shows during the UK and US trading session, there could be a chance that the US dollar could continue to strengthen. Okay, so this is the one. So yeah, so as the US dollar strengthened during the UK and US trading session, we can see that when we put our cursor here, this is 1300 plus 5 hours if you're in Singapore or Malaysia. So this one will be 13 plus 5, 1800 hours, which is 6 p.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time on last Friday. Okay, so 6 p.m. went up, and this is the other one, 1700. This one plus 5 is 2200 hours. So at 6 p.m. strengthened, at 10 p.m. strengthened further. Okay, and during the Asian trading session, it was mostly weak. Okay, so when we look at the UK pound, as the US dollar was retracing back down in the Asian trading session, we can see that the UK pound is strengthening. Okay, so it strengthened from about this tip here, 400 hours plus 5 is 9 a.m. local Singapore and Malaysia time. It strengthens a total of 107 pips. Okay, during last Friday's video analysis, I was looking at the UK pound at this time, which is at about just before 12 p.m. Just before 12 p.m. when it was analyzed and when it was uploaded. Okay, so I do remember that I was looking for the UK pound to move back up first before deciding to go up or down. Okay, so very nicely the UK pound moved up another 90 pips. Okay, so not bad a trade or a movement for one market cycle. And only towards the evening, the UK pound continues to weaken back 170 pips. Okay, so be very aware of the sentiment. Basically, the sentiment was bearish ever since Thursday, and also this move down during the evening is a continuation of the bearish move. Okay, some traders may be watching the 2 p.m. news, which came out last Friday. Okay, and like I mentioned, news is good. News will move the prices. However, don't blindly follow the theory of the news. In other words, when the UK data was announced last Friday at 2 p.m., most of the data was negative and red. So most traders will be thinking data is negative. Theoretically, the UK pound should drop, should weaken. Okay. However, as you can see, the UK pound at about 2 p.m. Okay, when the data was announced, it didn't really drop a lot. It just dropped on this 1 hour candle, moving down about 30 pips. However, it finds reasonable support and then moves up another 77 pips. Okay, so for me, the energy and the momentum is a follow through from the previous day, which was on Thursday, and this data that came out on last Friday at 2 p.m. was even more reason for it to go up further. Okay, so yeah, so that was the movements of the UK pound, which went up about 100 pips in the Asian trading session and then moved down 170 pips during the US trading session. So 100 pips up, 170 down, 270 pips in total, excluding all those minor moves. Okay, so again, markets will give you plenty of opportunity to trade. You don't have to cash every single pip. Just make sure you cash about 25 pips to 50 pips on average per week, and you are doing fine. Okay, so moving on to the euro dollar. Again, we can see that the US dollar was the core, where it recovered during Thursday and also on Friday. So we see the UK pound dropping on Thursday and Friday, and of course we also see the euro dollar first of all consolidating on Tuesday and Wednesday, and on Thursday it also continues to weaken, and on Friday it was a follow through drop. Okay, so the euro dollar also dropped a total of about 180 pips over Thursday and Friday. Okay, so moving on to gold prices. Gold prices again was previously on a bullish trend, and for the last few days it was just consolidating in a range. So even in the range, it was moving at about 20 to 30 US dollars. Okay, so last Friday was no different. Gold prices was mostly pretty quiet in the morning, and towards 2 p.m. local Singapore time, you can see below 9 plus 5, 1400. Gold prices moved up about $15 during the UK trading session, and towards the evening, it moved back down about 12 US dollars. Okay, so currently it's still pretty quiet, the gold prices. So again, it's waiting for further momentum and direction, but in the short term it is on a bullish sentiment, so there could be a tendency for gold prices to go up rather than down. Okay, oil prices also, again, as you can see, the turning point was last Thursday after the FOMC announcement. Oil peaked at this price over here, $40.06, and after that it has been dropping for about $4.68 over last Thursday and last Friday. Okay, so again, if you notice, the impact of all the change in sentiment came last week after the FOMC statement, and followed up by the rise in COVID-19 cases. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to be hands-on and be sensitive to in terms of the sentiment and what has changed in the economic or financial landscape. Okay, so yeah, so that is the wrap up for the last few days and also for today. So far, markets are pretty quiet, but the general sentiment is US dollar is slightly bullish, but it could be trading in a range now. So there's always a chance that the US dollar could weaken back a bit if it breaks this dynamic trend line. Okay, so yeah, we got to analyze the markets and the chart patterns again just before the UK trading session today, and also just before the US trading session tonight. Okay, so always get the latest sentiment, the latest news, and the latest chart patterns before you enter a trade. Okay, so yeah, so I hope this today's videos helps you guys to understand the markets again, and have a good trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.